Welcome to this Orchestrating Your Digital Commerce with Mint training session. So I'm going to go through the agenda first of all. We're going to take a look at the commerce production flow, and then explore the commerce finance flow. And then we're going to take a look at the commerce information flow. So before we dive into the intricacies of digital commerce and how it connects life science companies with their trade partners, we'll take a moment just to reflect on the broader supply chain management flow that forms the backbone of this process. At its core, supply chain management is about ensuring the right product reaches the right place at the right time. It involves multiple stages, from procurement and production to inventory management, transportation, and distribution. Each stage requires seamless coordination among various partners, systems, and stakeholders. So when we look at end-to-end supply chain, there are three flows that are always present: product, material, and service flow. The flow of information and the flow of finance. Material, so this is typically flows one direction from upstream to downstream. Raw materials to finished goods. Each partner in the supply chain experiences this. From raw materials to finished goods, products move downstream to their final point of consumption, stopping many times throughout their life cycle. Material, however, can flow upstream in the case of a return, so recalls, damages, or wrong product. With information, this flows both upstream and downstream, and it can be argued that information is the foundation of a supply chain. Without it, the supply chain is not optimized for success. So everyone must communicate information for their partners to execute. And last but certainly not least, finance. Everyone in the supply chain is compensated for their part in the orchestration. Every customer pays a provider for services rendered. This can include the product itself, value-added service like packaging and labeling, and storage of product and delivery of the product. Each of the orchestration subgroups can have overlap in personnel and data shared. It's very important to remember that many of the supply chain processes rely on data and action from other places for things to work smoothly. And we encourage each organization we collaborate with, internal teams and partners, to not only grasp their internal orchestrations, but also understand those of their supply chain partners. So before we move on, just something to think about. Now that we have had some introduction, let's retrospect on how seamless is your current supply chain collaboration? Are your partners able to communicate efficiently, or are there frequent delays and miscommunications? And then, are you leveraging digital transactions effectively? Are you digitalizing tools like POs, ASNs, and invoices to their full potential for better process orchestration? So here are some thoughts we have for supply chain management. If there are frequent delays, miscommunications, or errors, it may indicate a lack of standardized processes or outdated communication methods. Digital commerce solutions can centralize communication and ensure accurate data exchange. For leveraging digital transactions, tools like POs, ASNs, and invoices can streamline procurement, shipping, and payment processes. If manual processes are still prevalent, adopting digital transactions can reduce errors, improve efficiency, and enhance collaboration with partners. So today we'll explore how digital commerce helps orchestrate these processes, leveraging transactions, workflows, and actionable insights to improve collaboration between life sciences companies and their trade partners. From product flow to finance and information exchange, we'll discuss how digital solutions optimize these interactions to drive better outcomes. You likely followed this simple but intricate orchestration. Commerce sparks every industry as demand is driven by the customers, prompting an increase or decrease in production by the manufacturers. Leveraging Mint, both the customer placing orders and the supplier receiving orders can speed up the flow of information to their respective supply chain ecosystem to enhance their relationship. We will walk through each transaction listed here and touch on some benefits of each being digitalized. So 4 major transactions that impact commerce at the product level are the purchase order acknowledgement, ASN, and return authorization. Let's first take a look at what goes into these 4 transactions, then we'll take a look at how it works in Mint. Starting with the purchase order. A purchase order is a formal request sent by the buyer to the supplier to procure goods or services. So we'll set the stage. You're a buyer and you need to order a ton of goods. You create a detailed purchase order, your official shopping list for the supplier, if you like. But here's the thing, the supplier might call it a sales order, and they may need to match every detail to ensure they fulfill it perfectly. This sounds simple, but imagine manually creating the order, emailing it as a PDF, and hoping nothing gets lost or misinterpreted along the way. In some cases, suppliers don't even have robust systems. They're relying on spreadsheets to piece together your request. And that's where things can get messy. By using Mint to digitalize purchase orders, you can reduce errors, speed up processing, improve efficiency, and gain better visibility into the supply chain. Now that you've placed a massive order for a crucial product, do you sit and hope it all goes smoothly, or do you want a crystal clear message from the seller confirming, we've got this and here's what you can expect? This is the role of a purchase order acknowledgement. It's the seller's thumbs up to the buyer confirming the order details and flagging any issues. But here's the challenge. Many acknowledgements still come through emails or calls. So imagine sifting through piles of emails to figure out which orders are confirmed or adjusting your production plans based on sketchy details. That's not going to be fun. Why digitalize purchase order acknowledgements with Mint? It provides real-time updates, fewer errors, faster planning, and enhanced order visibility. Now you're a buyer juggling several purchase orders, all set to arrive on the same day. Your supplier has to consolidate shipments to optimize delivery, but you have no clue which PO items are coming in or when they'll actually hit your dock. Now imagine the chaos of last-minute scrambles to find space, assign staff, and verify shipment details, all while risking stockouts or overflows. Enter the Advanced Shipment Notification, otherwise known as ASN. Why it matters. The ASN is like the heads up message in your favorite sports game. It gives you a play-by-play of what's arriving, so you're never caught off guard. ASN is an electronic document that notifies the buyer about the shipment of goods before they arrive. It typically includes detailed information about the shipment, such as the contents, quantities, expected delivery date, and tracking details. The ASN allows the buyer to prepare for the arrival of goods, allocate resources, for example, dock space and personnel, and verify the shipment against the purchase order for accuracy. This helps streamline receiving operations, reduce errors, and improve inventory management. If you're still relying on emails or calls for shipment updates, think about how much time is wasted and how errors pile up. Missing an ASN means you're playing detective when goods arrive, hunting for paperwork, fixing mismatches, and slowing everything down. With Mint's digital ASNs, dock workers know what to expect and are ready for action. Inventory gets updated in real time, ensuring smooth stock control. Discrepancies get flagged early, so there's no wasted time or effort. Now suppose your company needs to return a batch of pharmaceuticals. Some were damaged in transit and others are nearing expiration. Without a clear, efficient system, what happens? Chaos. Emails fly back and forth, paper forms pile up, miscommunication leads to delays. But what if there is a better way? The EDI 180, Return Merchandise Authorization, RMA, is an electronic document used to request and authorize the return of pharmaceutical products from a buyer. for example, pharmacy, hospital, distributor, to a supplier, for example, manufacturer or wholesaler. Enter the digital RMA process. You log into your system and submit a return request in minutes. No phone tag, no guessing. The supplier reviews the request, approves it, and issues an RMA number with clear return instructions. You package the items with the RMA number and ship them back, confident that all requirements are met. With Mint's digital RMA process, returns become seamless by automating requests, enhancing visibility for all parties, and reducing delays and costs, turning a chaotic manual workflow into an efficient solution. So now we're going to take a look at the Mint commerce orchestration and how it looks in the system itself. So first of all, you click the main menu icon. Select My Networks. Select Mint Commerce Orchestration. Then click Go. You expand the commerce customer from the side menu. Select Purchase Orders from the side menu. To view the details of the desired PO, select the PO number link. Select Purchase Orders from the side menu. And to go back, select Purchase Orders from the side menu. See the New button at the top right corner to create a new PO. We are now looking at the partner screen. For example, well, in this case, it's Garnet Labs. We can see that they have received Medavonic's purchase order. Now, if we click the link to the PO, the detail page opens. Here, the partner can check the PO details and create new response in the form of a PO acknowledgement, ASN, or invoice. So this exercise just allows us to match the following scenarios with the correct transaction. So just to, now that we've looked at the basics, we're just going to match these scenarios with what you see on the left to the transactions. So as a procurement manager, you need to place an order for raw materials. This would be a purchase order. You are awaiting a notification before the shipment arrives, an ASN. And finally, you need to return products to the supplier. Return authorization transaction. Now let's look at some transactions that align with the financial flow. We've already covered purchase order and return authorization in the product flow. So unless there are any questions, we're going to proceed on to invoice, credit debit adjustment, and remittance advice. The buyer and seller have already done their part, so products ordered, shipped, and received. Everything's running smoothly. Now it's time for the seller to get paid. An invoice is like a thank you note for a completed transaction, but with a bit more detail. It's the formal document that sellers send to buyers to request payment for the goods or services they delivered. Think of it as a checklist that keeps everyone on track. The invoice includes important information like what was delivered, so the product or service, how much it costs, when the buyer needs to pay, any special payment terms or discounts, and even taxes and fees. With Mint, invoices are sent directly from system to system, so there are no PDFs, no emails, no manual data entry. This speeds up processing, reduces errors, and ensures payments are made on time. So here you're a buyer, and after receiving an invoice, you realize there's a pricing mistake or return product that needs to be accounted for. Instead of digging through piles of paperwork or back and forth emails, what if you could instantly notify the seller about the issue and getting it fixed? That's where the EDI 812 credit debit adjustment comes in. This electronic document allows you to adjust pricing discrepancies, account for returns or allowances, apply rebates or discounts, and correct freight or handling charges. Here's how it works. The buyer kicks off the process by initiating a credit debit adjustment with all the supporting details. The seller then receives the request, reviews the information, processes the adjustment, and responds, accepting or rejecting it. Now let's talk about the remittance. but not the boring paper shuffling manual stuff you've probably been used to. Imagine this. You, the buyer, just made a payment, and now you need to let the seller know exactly what was paid and why. That's what the remittance does. It's not just a payment notification, it's a detailed breakdown that clears up exactly which invoices or purchase orders were settled. But here's the catch. Today, this process is often messy. Sellers need to manually reconcile payments against invoices and purchase orders. And buyers, they're doing the same on their end, sifting through records, trying to keep track. What if there's a better way? Enter digital remittance with Mint. By digitalizing the exchange, buyers can easily streamline their accounts payable process, while sellers can quickly see which invoices have been paid and for how much. No more guesswork, no more manual matching. Sellers can reconcile payments faster, identify discrepancies instantly, and keep their accounts receivable on point. With this digital transformation, everyone's happier, payments are clearer, and the entire process becomes faster and more accurate. So let's put this headache behind us. So I'm just going to do a demo now, again, of the commerce orchestration, looking at the invoice and remittance advice. So in the previous demo, we have seen how to access this commerce orchestration network already. So now we'll just click on remittance advice. And here you can see different field columns like supplier, payment methods, payment amount, total discount, etc. So here's just a bit of a puzzle. Suppose you're an accounts payable specialist, you've received goods and need to process payment to the supplier. Before making a payment, you'd expect the supplier to send you an invoice. After completing the payment, you'd send the supplier a remittance advice. In the information flow, we have the price sales catalogue. While it is alone on this slide, the piece of information arguably sets the tone for the procure to pay and order to cash process for the commerce orchestration. Imagine you're a seller with a catalogue full of products and prices that change frequently. If your distributors or retailers don't have the latest pricing, chaos can ensue. Orders get placed with wrong prices or outdated item codes, leading to errors and delays. Enter the price sales catalogue. Sellers send an updated electronic catalogue with accurate product details and pricing to their trade partners through Mint. No more email chains, spreadsheets, or outdated paper catalogues. For buyers, it means faster order processing with accurate prices. Everyone wins. Smooth transactions, reduced errors, and better relationships all round. Leveraging Mint to digitalize price sales catalog ensures accurate, efficient, and real-time access to pricing while cutting costs and reducing errors. Again, we'll take a look at the demo in the system. Select price sales catalogs. So with Mint, these transactions can come to life in a digital world. This enables entities to become more efficient, agile, and resilient in a world where the consumers drive the demand out of desire or necessity. Again, something to think of. As you reflect on the transactions we've discussed, consider this. Not every transaction may be relevant for all your partners today. Which ones are most critical to your operations now? Could starting with a few key transactions simplify your processes and gradually build momentum for wider adoption? And how might streamlining these transactions enhance your relationships with your partners and improve overall efficiency? Take a moment to think about where you'd like to begin and how you can leverage these digital tools to drive progress. And I'm just going to present you with a few key takeaways. Understand your possibilities. Discover the range of transactions you can leverage to optimize your processes. Identify your priorities. Reflect on which transactions align best with your current needs and goals. Start planning. Begin mapping out how and when to implement these transactions in your workflows. Envision the impact. Consider how streamlining transactions can improve collaboration, reduce errors, and enhance efficiency. Think about the next steps you can take to bring these ideas to life. So that brings us to the end of this training session. Just to recap, we looked at an overall overview of digital commerce, looking at the commerce product flow. We explored the commerce finance flow, and finally the commerce information flow. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Tracelink University at tracelink.com.